Right. Took forever and a day tonight, but we finally got one. Well, hello everybody. Ant-Man here as usual. Out for some python hunting in the Everglades like you usually see me doing out here, shining on the sides of the levees, looking down there in the water for, well, looking for pythons. In this episode of Ant-Man's Adventures, we're going to find some pretty nice native snakes of a few different varieties. We're going to see another invasive animal out there, and of course, going to find pythons. This time of year in the Everglades, the rain is finally here in earnest and the water levels are rising, so the pythons really start to move around. Obviously, with water, the snakes are buoyant, so they can cover much more ground than if they're just crawling on dry land. So in the summer months, the snakes are really foraging, and they're out just trying to put on weight before the breeding season that occurs in the winter. So I'm out now looking for some of those pythons. Let's see how it goes. Look at the size of this green water snake. You stop there? That thing is a beast.
Yeah, you thought that was a python.
Yeah, I yelled out python because it looked like a little one.
Poisonous?
No, it's non-venomous. That's a big one though. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see if we can't actually go find a python. I yelled python because, well, there was a 4.5-foot fat snake down there. Huh. That's funny.
Why don't you go down and film it for your video?
I'm filming it right now. All right. This little guy. This is a come here back here. A little peninsular ribbon snake. Try to get a better grab on it with one hand. Come here, little buddy. All right. Look at his best impersonation of I'm mean. I know. Look at that gaping mouth. These are nice little snakes, related to garter snakes. They feed on little invertebrates and frogs and tadpoles and such, but they get maybe twice this size, but this is an adult, and they're very abundant. I mean, they used to be abundant where you see hundreds of them on some nights, but, you know, anymore, like everything else in South Florida, they're vanishing, so I'm gonna let this guy go about his night. Head on up in there. All right. So when you see me shining the sides of these levees like I'm doing right here, I'm looking for the pattern of the python, or a little bit of iridescence, or, you know, just a dark spot that looks a little bit out of place. But every once in a while you'll see another little critter. It'll give you a quick little jolt, thinking that you're actually seeing a python. And that's what actually happened in this case right here. Alligator sitting in the bushes there. There's another little cutie. I did see a snake. Look at that. Green water snake. Oh. It's got an injured mouth, looks like. Oh yeah, its bottom, look at that. Oh, poor snake. Oh man, that breaks my heart to see that. Snake's bottom jaw has been ripped open. Ay. Sorry about that, buddy. Life's tough. Oh man. I probably got hit by a car at some point. So check this out. This is a cane toad. This is an exotic species here in Florida. In fact, these are found at this point in quite a few places around the world. They get transported around in pots and stuff from plants, but they actually can get about double the size of this one. But this is a decent representation of how big they are. It's the largest toad in Florida, and it is non-native. The largest native toad in Florida would be the southern toad, but these things are found throughout South Florida, and well, there he goes. Big old thing. All right. You know, some nights when you're python hunting, you catch a python right out of the gate. Other nights like tonight, you got to work really hard to find a snake. I'm seeing a lot of critters out, you know, a lot of native snakes and toads and such, so I know that animals are active, and you can kind of tell on a good night or a bad night, you know, by the activity of the other animals. Kind of like, you know, when everything's moving around and the Everglades is alive, it's generally a good night for the pythons also. So I'm pushing on and trying to see if I can't get one. Look at this. A periscoping mud snake. That's bizarre. If that's not a beautiful snake, let me tell you what. So this is probably about a two-year-old, possibly 3-year-old eastern mud snake. So when they're young, they still have very, very vibrant red. As they get older, that belly's going to turn kind of pink, but this is a spectacular animal right here. Let me put this on here. Gorgeous, gorgeous animal. Let's turn that light down, see if that helps. Look at those colors, and look at they're shy little creatures. They never bite. As I've pointed out in some of my other videos, if you see that tail tip right there, they use that to pin sirens and infumas, which is their primary prey as adults. And they never bite people. They also don't do well in captivity at all, unless you know how to have a constant supply of sirens and infumas and the proper aquarium set up. It's almost impossible. So these guys, even though they don't bite, they're best left alone. And they're gorgeous animals. They get much larger than this. This one's probably about 2.5 feet long. They'll get up 5 feet or so. Not so much anymore, but back in the old days I did used to see some very, very large ones when I was younger. But they're not too common anymore in the numbers that they used to be. It's still not uncommon to see, you know, one here and there. But the days of seeing a dozen in a night, those are long gone. But look at the head on that snake. Spectacular. It's like a stripe, like a pink tiger up there. That's beautiful. And you see they have no inclination whatsoever to bite. But we're going to go ahead and send this snake back on its day, or its night rather. There it goes. Beautiful. Well, it took long enough today. Ugh. Spraying musk all over me. My goodness. All right. Let's give it a little gentle pin. Oop, oh, almost gave me a gentle pin. All right. Took forever and a day tonight, but we finally got one. We've been hunting for hours upon hours. And this is our first one. Saw that mud snake and now this python. Let's see what we got here. Male, young male. So this snake was probably not sexually mature this year. It's probably going to tape out at about 6.5 feet. But well, unfortunately for this guy, he's never going to be sexually mature because, well, he's been taken out of the ecosystem of South Florida where he's an invasive. So go ahead and grab your phone, Dad. He's we're going to enter some data on this guy, and we're going to move on and see if we can't get another one. All right, time to bag up this guy. Look at he tied the knot on me right there. That's how they torque down on you. All right, we got to wind him. Okay,
He's like a pretzel.
hold on. He's gonna keep tying that knot. So there we go.
That's supposed to do it.
Yeah. While I generally do catch pythons pretty much every time I go out, be it day or night, sometimes you really do have to work hard for them, and tonight was one of those examples. thankfully there was some pretty cool observations along the way, my highlight being this beautiful, beautiful eastern mud snake. And like I had mentioned, they are slowly vanishing in Florida along with most of our native wildlife. But pythons aren't the only invasive out there. You got these exotic cane toads like this that these things, well, they don't pose too much of a threat as an invasive to the ecosystem. They are an exotic though, but they mainly sit around and eat bugs underneath lights and dog food on people's back porches and such. But they're certainly out there in abundance. And well, if you stick it out long enough and persevere, you're usually rewarded with a python. And tonight was no exception. Just took a little bit longer than I would like of going back and forth on these levees and areas trying to find one. But any python removed from the ecosystem is a win for the Everglades. It's a tough battle out there for our native wildlife with everything that's up against it, between the exotic animals and the herbicides that are used, pesticides and water level manipulation, all these things that that go out to affect the animals in the Everglades makes it really tough on our native wildlife. So any little bit that I can do to help out is always a good thing. As I always say, I greatly appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you all out there in the Everglades. Take care and stay safe. Later on.